and why did you decide to create this, and why?
Yeah, it's a very interesting question. I'm sure you have been in the same position with the water MBA, but it was a little bit of that need of doing a little bit more, of like contributing in a different way. When I started this, I wasn't doing in the role that I'm describing, but I was doing similar stuff like in consulting for the water industry. And one of the other things that I've been very involved here in my time in Australia is with the Australian Water Association. I joined as a member when I was still doing my PhD, and then slowly I got into kind of being part of one of the committees that runs events here locally. At the moment, I'm actually leading that committee, which is for young water professionals. And by being involved in that, I realized the potential that we had to connect a lot better. And I realized how hard it is to have a conversation with someone at a networking event, and you're like, "Hi, Jess, what do you do?" "I work in planning." And then if I go into the details of my job, it'll be very difficult for people to actually keep up with the conversation, because I was getting lost in having conversations with people just because I don't know enough about water treatment. Because I'm a civil engineer, I never learned that at uni. So it came from the idea of, what if I could sit down with an expert in one topic and I could ask them the basic questions around their area, and what if I just record it and put it out there? That was literally the way that they started, like how to connect the industry better. But also with time, it has evolved into a way to make water more visible, hopefully outside of our own industry, by getting the concepts a lot easier and a lot more accessible for everyone to understand the importance of water.
Well, definitely you have a a really very good podcast. To be honest, I mean, it's not because of you are
Thank
here,
you.
but it's true that is one of my favorites because I think it's very, I don't know how in English the word, okay, but it's easy to follow. Let's say the conversations. I think the topics are very well, decided. I don't know if this is, or you do it on your own, like select exactly the topics or the question that you want to solve in each episode. But I think you are covering in 2 seasons, I think already, a wide range of water, and I think
Yes.
this is one of the best probably that I found in
Oh, thank
so
you.
far, to be honest, because as I said, it's covering also, maybe it's more aligned with my interest, that I have abroad. I want to
Yeah.
learn in a broad perspective, not the business, but I think it's a very good podcast. I don't know if when you started you felt um, overwhelmed or I don't know, stressed in some way, or always was it smoothly from your side?
Oh, it's been overwhelming. Like it's everything at the same time, because it took me probably like a year of me sitting down with my own thoughts. So we're talking 2023, to actually put it in words. It's a podcast. How do I do a podcast? How do you start a podcast? There's so much stuff that I had to learn on the background, and I wasn't even ready to talk to people about it. Not even my husband, which is the person that I spend the most of the time with. It took me months to actually tell him that was an idea. So I think it's been something that has been overwhelming from the day one, but also so fulfilling at the same time. So it definitely has taught me how to be overwhelmed and be okay with it, because you're pushing yourself all the time in things that you never thought you would be, like reaching out to really high level people in the industry, learning how to record, how to do a script. We may talk about this, but like I'm looking into season 3, how to get sponsors, how to get people to actually give you money to do this, not to live out of it, but just to keep it going, because they're expensive. So definitely something that just pushes yourself all the time to not be comfortable. But you do realize after a while that that's the only way you grow as a professional and in these projects. So it's kind of being comfortable with being uncomfortable all the time.